Hello and welcome to Leviathan News. I'm Samuel McCullough, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Garrett and DeFi Advisor. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy Monday. Hello, Sales. Nice to see you here.
So we are going to lead in with Garrett, resident expert in Curve. What happened over the weekend? We thought we were getting rocket ship launches, but where are we as of today?
Yeah, big weekend. So just yesterday, if you look at the Curve deployer address, which by random dice roll came up as OXBABE, OXBABE, it had a very busy weekend. It started deploying some artifacts, and if you actually start looking at that, you notice that it matches some of the newest contracts within the Curve stablecoin repository. So in this case, as I was paying attention to this, you can note that it was not actually the Curve stablecoin being launched. It looks at this point like it's some implementation contracts, which will be used in the Curve stablecoin factory. But this is, in fact, a necessary precondition towards launching. So if you look through the entire crvUSD deployment script, you'll find that the first stage is getting some of these contracts live on chain. Then the factory hooks into it. The way the implementation contracts work is it's like the shell of a contract. It has all the necessary pieces, but it lacks the actual deployment initialization details. But it allows for something like a factory to go ahead and launch these cheaply on chain once it's got that template deployed. So it was a pretty big weekend. This morning, the crvUSD deployer address also resumed a few more deployments. These were even smaller. These were very minor admin price oracles. So the way that actual crvUSD works is it basically points to real price oracles and uses this as part of its entire AMM structure. In this case, the actual price oracles that it's using are still needs some testing. So these kind of dummy price oracles allow an admin to go in and set the price, which allows you to do things like say, what happens if Ethereum price crashes from $5,000 to $1 overnight? How's that going to affect the overall setup? If you would like more information on it, I wrote up an entire article on the subject. This is on Substack. So visit curve.substack.com where we get into a lot of the nitty gritty, kind of more technical details. But if any of you have any questions about this, in fact, one of the really interesting things that I spotted is just last night, there's also a new commit to the Git repository, which will enable FRAXUSDP to be used as collateral for crvUSD. So some big news in there, not just for the Curve ecosystem, but also for fractionalists.
I definitely would like to hear a bit of your thoughts about it. I don't know if you have time for it today, but for me, it's extreme. It's one of the most interesting narrative of the upcoming year, in my opinion. I'm sorry. What happens when crvUSD launches? How does it affect the other stable coins? What kind of adjustments should they make, if any, in order to like keep their status or improve their status? I definitely think that it's going to be a game changer. And if you have anything you can or want to share about it, for sure. I think I'm not the only one who's going to be interested in knowing that.
Yeah, we've talked about this, you and I, or actually, Garrett, you talked about this on the Flywheel podcast, which you did several months back. We didn't know as much about crvUSD at the time, but we did talk about the liquidity makeup and the potential of a Frax crvUSD base pool, which looks like it's going to be coming in the future. Speaking of Frax, a new USDP Frax base pool launched last week. It's called FRAXUSDP is the name of it. And in just a few days, in under a week, the pool has gained more than $100 million worth of assets, which is great, cool. I mean, that's really fast. This is one of the fastest grow. Actually, checking right now, it has $82 million worth of assets. Then you can earn up to 5.69% by depositing into this one.
Not bad. That rivals what you can get if you take your money out of DeFi and put it in a bank account. So that's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, and this is interesting, right? Because I think you reported about this last week, Garrett, or at least you retweeted it, how the 3 pool is starting to potentially become a problem because the Wintermute hacker has more than, I believe, 30% of all the liquidity that's in that pool. And so potentially it might be better to switch over to one of Frax's base pools instead of keeping money in 3 pool for the time being.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the stable coins that consisted or became the constituents of 3 pool, like they made sense back in the day, USDC, DAI, and Tether, but nowadays each of those stable coins has lost some of its luster. Like USDC, of course, is still like had that depeg event from a month ago at this point, and it's still getting people like a little bit concerned about it. And then Tether's always, of course, been the subject of FUD, and then DAI is just wrapped USDC. So it remains to be seen as the kind of stablecoin ecosystem evolves. Like we might well see that the next generation of stablecoins is all built off Frax, crvUSD, maybe Aave's Go. We might see LUSD, which has been one of the better battle-tested stablecoins at this point. Like we're getting good options out there, and we don't necessarily need to rely on the kind of highest liquidity stablecoins in USDC, USDT, and DAI.
Very excited for all of that. I'm also really excited for the upcoming launch of yETH, which is currently in a snapshot vote on its deployment. Did you guys get to check out the snapshot at all? Essentially, it goes into all the information about the governance and the operational aspects of this new contract that's going to be launched.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. So yETH looks to be pretty heavily favored to pass at this point. So it's a big step for the Ethereum ecosystem. Obviously the Shanghai update has really taken all the interest in LSDs and turbocharged it. We of course see the explosive growth of FRAXUSDP, especially since Shanghai and Chapella. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly where yETH fits in the ecosystem. Any predictions on where it's gonna go?
Well, I am very bullish on it because outside of Frax, Yearn is one of the largest CRV holders. So it has a lot of voting power that it can direct towards yETH.
Is it gonna,
Of course.
is it gonna have like a structure similar to what FRAXUSDP is doing with the 2 tokens? Because I think someone explained to me that that's what allows actually Frax to give such benefits to the FRAXUSDP holders, or is it different?
My understanding is it's a basket of LSDs.
It's a basket of LSDs, but they're going to have
like
to
an index, like a kind of index.
Yes, it's an index token for LSDs, but they're going to have to pair it against something. And Curve has 60 million CRV that it can use to vote with. I believe they're one of the largest CRV holders after Convex, number 2. So it's going to be interesting how they design and direct all of their liquidity incentives to the pool to yETH after it's launched on chain.
And let's not forget that FRAXUSDP went on a absolute tear of creating FRAXUSDP paired pools. So if we see a FRAXUSDP yETH paired pool, there would be 2 powerhouses that could potentially bribe that pool towards some of the heftiest returns we've seen.
Yes, but it's always important to understand that these derivatives, at least these index tokens, they're compounding smart contract risks. So it does have its own risks. When you swap your ETH or whatever you have into yETH, you are taking the contract risk of all the platforms that you're now using in different risk amounts. So that's definitely something to be advised of.
Also, can I ask another thing, guys? Like when many times when a team or project uploads a new contract, and like it's gonna have like in 2 months from now, maybe they find some kind of bug. So will people need to possibly migrate, or is it a kind of contract that's simply gonna launch there and you can and you don't need to do it? Do you have any thoughts or information about it? Maybe.
It's a good question. I don't know enough about the composition. I'd imagine that they could that the DAO has reserved some powers to be able to adjust the kind of mix of assets. But it's one of the dangers with single-sided staking. It's also like a frequent complaint people have against Conic and similar type omni pools.
Yeah. I think with this one though, it's a little bit different because they can provide at least in governance, you should vote on the asset allocation makeups, and it should be kept pretty tight. And hopefully, the Yearn users are some of the smartest in all of DeFi, and so they should be watching those closely in case anything happens. So another big story that happened over the week, and actually this has really been the past week, the narrative in crypto land has been the return of meme coins. We've seen Pepe, we've seen Wojak, we've seen Nada, and a whole host of other potentially what you could call shitcoins come and rise and gain huge valuations as punters are throwing millions of dollars into these meme coins with no happenstance. And one of the byproducts of all this retail money flowing into these low liquidity meme coins is that MEV bots have been making an absolute killing. Over the weekend, a MEV bot called Jared from Subway has been making 30 ETH every few hours from sandwiches.
Good God, man.
I know.
This is insane.
It's like they say, if you are not at the table, you're probably on the menu. So a lot of these people who are trading meme coins should really, really look at some basic security practices for how to trade on chain. If you're not using kind of MEV protection, you might just be opening up your wallet and draining it.
Yes. So I would always recommend using an aggregator. 1 inch is nice. I personally used DeFi Llama's swap that they have because they're like an aggregator of aggregators. And so, yeah, go use them if you can. With these meme coins, it's hard because there's such low liquidity and usually they have taxes and you kind of have to set your slippage quite high. And so, retail just gets rinsed on these. It's a good and a bad thing. But you know what? Good for Jared for Subway. He's one of the top gas spenders in the entirety of all of DeFi, and I'm sure he's happy that he's making bank right now.
Do you guys think that the same people issuing the meme coins are the people managing most of the MEV operations? Like, is that like a business plan for them?
No.
You get what?
Gives them too much credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
These meme coins it's a whole different game. So, speaking of gas, BNB or BSC or BNB chain has reduced their gas amount from 5-way to 3-way to make it more affordable than ever to use the network. While that could seem like a good thing, potentially that does raise the potential for lots more spam transactions to come through.
Yeah, I think this kind of same effect is very noticeable on Polygon, where people almost treat it as a test net because it's so affordable. People have no problem just kind of deploying junk and seeing what's going on.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't play a lot on Binance Smart Chain, to be honest.
It's very popular, though. I know there's a lot of people that are there. If you're in the Binance ecosystem, it's very easy to get into BSC, which is just a fork of Geth. It's essentially the Ethereum code base that's been pushed to the limit and has 21 validators.
I have to admit, I'm surprised CZ did not reduce it to 4 Gwei.
4 Gwei, yeah, exactly.
On our side of the world, people are much easier choose Binance and whatever stuff because it has like a big moat around awareness and crypto. Like the name Binance and crypto to the normal person outside of the US, I think it's much easier for them to go with something that has the Binance stamp on it in a way, compared to something like Arbitrum, which for me is a million times better. Yet for them, they don't have that name that says that kind of vouches for it. So I do think that Binance is not going away.
No, they're not.
In my opinion.
And also Binance, one of their other products that they own, TrustWallet, had a vulnerability over the weekend where $170,000 of user assets were lost. They're planning a reimbursement, and they've asked everyone to move their funds and also upgrade their wallets as well too. And so this issue impacted wallet addresses generated through the browser extension between November 14th and November 23rd of 2022. They said that there's still about $85,000 of assets that are at risk and that people should be moving them as fast as possible. So if you are using TrustWallet and you created your addresses, then go out and fix it now. Additionally, in crypto news, we had Kraken withdrawing 330,000 ETH after regulatory enforcement came down and gave them the ban hammer. However, deposits have outpaced withdrawals since the initial rush to take funds out in the first few blocks of Chapella. And things are really proceeding well. I mean, I can tell you on the FRAXUSD side that we're just getting huge amounts of flows coming in. It's
anyone who wanted to get out got out within the first kind of week, and since then it's been nothing but just floods of deposits as people feel a lot of confidence they can actually deposit their money and withdraw it. And FRAXUSD is definitely the biggest beneficiary of it because people see the FRAXUSD yield, see what's being built on the ecosystem, and it gives them a lot of confidence. So well earned W there.
Yeah, and also well, I guess this isn't really a W. We'll talk about some L's now. VC funding in the Web3 space is down 82% year on year. That's kind of sad. I mean, I guess it's to be expected. We're in the depths of the bear market. People don't want to fund stuff, and shiny new AI stuff has come out where money's flowing into. Additionally, yeah,
I'll count that as a win, to be honest. Like some of the VC projects.
I think it's kind of a W for us, you know what? Because so many people are like DeFi natives and crypto natives are still here funding projects, seeding projects, and we have like, you know what? I think now we actually see smart money, not the money called smart money. We can actually now see smart money and like who are the actual investors doing what? Like, for example, look at what you guys are doing over at Frax. Look at what's happening on Curve. Like, to me, in a way, the market is so much more exciting now than what I assume and pretty much hope for that will happen in the upcoming years. That exactly like you said, oh, there's a new AI bot project, blah blah blah, and some VC is going to put $500 million into it.
So just to round out the news for the today over the weekend, there's a story from the Defiant, which is interesting analysis saying that most DeFi protocols fade after they're hacked. I guess that's to be expected. You run out of money, people don't trust you anymore, and they get a little bit scared. Yeah, typically, you'll if a team has bad code in a project, sometimes they usually get hacked again. I mean, I can think of a few examples where this has happened multiple times, where like our next story between Alpha Homora and the Iron Bank, right? Where Alpha Homora was hacked twice. And now they have this whole like legal thing between themselves and Iron Bank, where there's like $20 million worth of user funds that have been stuck in the Iron Bank now because I believe the Iron Bank got hacked. That's a crazy one. Let's see what else is coming up. So 4 of Germany's largest banks are trialing deposit tokens. I'm guessing this will be similar to the French one that we talked about on Friday of last week. When they start making stable coins like the euro, whatever it is, that nobody actually uses, then I'll be a bit more excited. But if it's just like a gated token that we saw last week where everything's controlled by the bank, I mean, I'm not too jazzed about that. Additionally, Chinese city officials are going to pay their government staff in CBDC. Good luck to them. Keep your social credit scores up.
Good God, man. God help us.
I know. Yeah.
And news out of there, I thought this might be interesting ramifications for Mr. Do Kwon when a Korean regional court ruled that, in fact, Luna is not a security. So I believe he's still awaiting to find out where he's going to be extradited to, but he's got to hope he's going to Korea instead of the United States after that.
Yeah, I think he'll be in Montenegro for a while. I mean, he was like forging documents in Montenegro, which is probably like a 3 to 4 year sentence in that, and then he'll get passed off to the feds or Korea. Who knows where he's going to go? Speaking of somebody who didn't get pulled up by the feds, can you pull up the video that Officer CIA posted? He's actually one of the members, a quiet member of Leviathan News. He posted this over the weekend where a video emerged, not really sure where it's from, but a very smart, enterprising police officer is reviewing a computer that was confiscated from someone, and he does a very smart thing by pulling out the USB that's connected to it and pulling this up now. Can you full screen this, Garrett? So he reaches over, pulls out the USB. It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up. Exactly. So what was shown there was essentially, I'll pull this back up, and this essentially has the officer pulling out the USB, but what he doesn't know is that USB has a self-destruct mechanism on it and just completely wipes the computer. This person was thought to be an associate of a dark market or a darknet market, and he did the dumb thing and lost all the evidence. Yes. This was also... Yep.
So basically, once it was programmed that once the USB is disconnected, all of the information is to be self-destruct?
Yes.
Cool. Good
Yes.
God, what these people know to do. That's amazing. That's just amazing.
Exactly. And, this is supposed to be so you can like have a computer that works out in the open. And if you see the feds coming, you rip it out and, all that information is destroyed. This is actually what happened with what's his face who ran the Silk Road, right? He also had one of these as well too, but the feds came over and distracted him, asking him to like pick up something, and while he was looking away, they grabbed the computer and arrested him. So it's not full safe, it's not fail safe, but try not to work in public and stay away from the feds.
And do good stuff. Try to do good stuff. Although they won't only be looking for you if you do bad stuff. Sometimes it seems.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's some rumors floating around that Gensler was inspired by the hearings last week to send out some more Wells notices this week. So we might expect some more aggressive regulatory actions this upcoming week.
We're going to have Alex back on.
I saw that hearing, and it was simply like it's like watching a documentary. Like so many people are telling him, "Come on, man, give us some kind of chance to bring this new technology to be dominated by the US, like it still is." And I don't know, stuff seems so shady there, man.
Well, hey, you're in Israel, right? Could Israel take over, pick up the US's slack here, become the hub?
I think we are better in doing stuff beyond, like backstage, not on the front stage.
So that's going to wrap it up for today. If you do want to read or listen to more about the policy stuff we talked about last week with Alex Golubitsky, who was formerly from Umami as their CLO and is now, gainfully employed or gainfully unemployed. So please go and take a listen to that. This is going to be the end for
quick.
Oh, go ahead, Garrett.
Everyone who's interested in submitting your own headlines, we've hooked up the Discord bot. So find our Discord link over on Twitter and pop into the Discord channel and feel free to submit your own headlines and we'll talk about them here.
Oh, that'd be great. Also, if you are watching this show, please leave a comment in YouTube. We'll answer the questions that you guys have. We will be back tomorrow. Today is April 24th, 2023. This is Leviathan News. And you know what? We need to catch you sign off. Garrett, what should we sign off? Like about?
Let's roll, friends.
Let's roll. We'll have to think about some monster stuff in the next few days. All right. Have a good day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye, guys. Thanks a lot.